Alright, legends. I'm on the main drag out of the neighborhood here, North Crest Boulevard. It's a quiet morning. It's cold. I don't feel cold, I feel really comfortable. I'm glad I brought this gilet because heading in this direction it's a bit crispier. There's not much wind. You can see from the flags for President's Day last week. The golf course here is empty, of course. Guess it's too cold to be out on the links. Roads are nice and empty, so should be a very nice ride.
On this ride, I left Northampton knowing that none of the Team RR guys were riding. I went out past the Woodlands. I got on 1488 once I passed Sterling Ridge. Went up to Mount Magnolia. There was a lot of ice still on there. It was wet. They had gravel. I got on 149 and then I rode all the way into Gary. I filmed different sections of the ride just to kind of show, especially after I left Montgomery coming back in. I had not planned to go out that long, but once I got out there, the conditions were very nice. So I ended up doing quite a few more hours than I had originally planned. And I filmed the different graveled areas that are on the highway. They put gravel on the bridges and intersections. So I hope that you will enjoy the clips that I took for you. But I did a lot of narration while I was on the bike.
The guys covered the grass over here. I don't know if the camera will do it justice.
Yeah, they covered it with
the grass.
tarp.
They didn't want it to freeze.
It's probably the hole where they do their putting. The putting
golf
green.
Course. You see all the frost.
I was dressed really warm and it felt good, even though it says 1 Celsius. It's about 33 Fahrenheit, something like that. We've been so cold that this felt
I'll tell you what,
warm.
these neoprene gloves fit the bill. Just like shoe covers made out of neoprene. I got these many years ago from Rafa. They don't currently sell them, but they're like shoe covers for your hands. They work really well. Of course, they're great in the rain as well, and they keep your hands warm because they don't let any air through. I mean, it is neoprene. So my hands are nice and balmy, even though we still below freezing at this point. When it warms up, I'll have to probably shed these gloves and just go to the liners or just take the liners off because they get really warm when it warms up.
I ended up taking off both of them.
That's what I should have worn, this one or the Rafa last week. I picked this one over the Rafa Deep Winter because there's more dexterity with these, especially if I'm working with this camera. You can feel everything better. They're not as bulky.
They're very warm against the skin. They don't let any air in, so they worked really well. I had to take them off in the 5th hour. I slowed down. You can see I'm not pedaling to where I'm almost stopped, and I went through the intersection there.
Another thing I like about them is they're touchscreen compatible. I'm not sure if they were engineered that way or just the fact that neoprene works well with touchscreens, because there's nothing particular about the fingertips. They didn't put any special patch or anything on there. They just have good grippers so you can avoid sliding on your bars or slipping. I like that.
They work really well. I would say from probably, without liners, you could probably get away from about probably 3 Celsius and up, which is about, 40 degrees Fahrenheit and up. Anything colder than that, you'll need liners.
I want to see what's
They work
going on
best
with my neighbors
against the
across the
skin
street here.
versus having liners on.
So I'm gonna go
They're
left
warmer
here.
against your skin.
And go to Augusta Pines. That's what this area is called.
The Augusta Pines estate on the right covers this entire corner and north in this village. This is why I like to ride when it's cold or rainy. Look at the roads, empty. One car now and then. Usually this road is busy. I'm still warming up, so just kind of loosening up, getting into the ride. I've been off the bike about a week,
See the direction of the
which is
wind. If you look at
unusual
the
for me.
flags are coming from the
With
south.
everything that's been going on,
That's
it's
where
just busy.
our warmth will come from today. So in a few hours, it will kick up well into the 40s Fahrenheit.
It's like southeasterly. It was even windier the next day after this ride on Sunday, and it was warmer. Today
Usually people
we're
are
gonna
jogging
hit
on this
20
track.
Celsius
It's
as I
empty.
do this narration.
It's a bit too cold.
Sunny and warm.
Most people.
It's 22 Celsius today, right now.
One thing about gloves, you can't really feel the small items very well. Hold my thumb or basically above a little bit on my chin. Makes a difference. Turn here. Augusta Pines Parkway East.
Quit east.
Everybody's trying to thaw out today. People picked out the garbage service was restored yesterday. They couldn't come earlier in the week because of the frost.
You can hear the birds calling. They enjoyed the cold weather. There were a bunch of them just singing every morning. It felt slightly warmer than 0C because the wind is coming from the southeasterly direction right now. Not much wind, but the temperature just felt a little warmer than it had been. This is a big cycling route in the area throughout the week. Cyclists here to come out here to do loops.
It's a little nippy, so I'm covering my face more.
Pretty much most of the week, this road, this entire loop is clear. It's a good place to get a quick workout close to home if you want to go, if you don't want to go further out. All these lakes had like icy sheens over them. So heading north, the air is a little nippy, so I lifted up my built-in face cover, like a neck gaiter / face cover in my thermal underwear, thermal base layer. Works really well. It has honeycomb in there, so it just traps the heat, the warmth of your skin. Right here, about to hit the open road. So leave all these subdivisions.
All right, legends. I intentionally basically decided to get lost today. I'm on some road called Old Plantersville Road. I've never been on it before. It's outside the Tri-Lakes area, and I want to see where it leads. You can see it's about 10 or 11 Celsius, which is like 51, 52 Fahrenheit. Look at the snow still on the side of the road. This is not normal for Texas. So even though it's warmed up a bit, the ground is still cold enough to where the snow still lingers. Hopefully it will completely thaw out today. It's our second day, full day above freezing.
This is almost 3 hours later.
The major roads that have large shoulders have a lot of little pebbles. That's what we use, little stones, to keep ice down. And they put them on the corner near intersections, so where drivers have to slow down and turn, which makes sense. But it's just a big mess. So I didn't have the camera on as I went through, but now I'm out in the country, and you can see the roads are very quiet as usual, and everything's clear. There's no dangerous spots or anything. Closer to town, there are a lot of messy spots, I would call them, because those rocks that they put down, everything's melted, especially on the overpasses, like Mount Magnolia, I rode there, and it's just wet, you know, but there's no ice or anything. So I just use the right lane and stay out of the pebbles, because they're small enough to where it's just uncomfortable riding on them. Plus you could probably get a puncture if you hit the right one. You see the snow still on the side. All along here. My first time on this road, we've just always bypassed it. And I have a feeling it will bring me back to 105, because I'm right outside of Montgomery right now. That's what I suspect anyway. I just wanted to check it out. I pushed a little bit before I turned on the camera. I went up our 9% climb on Spring Branch Road. It's just amazing to be riding around in February in Texas and seeing snow on the side under those trees like that. But at 10 Celsius or 11 Celsius, it feels balmy today.
I ended up taking off the gilet. They use gravel down
coming
here.
Up. I've never been in this direction on this road from either side, so it's a nice change. I'm not sure why we never use it. It's a lot smoother than the one that goes behind the high school that we do use.
You probably don't use this because I found out it goes through a neighborhood, so they don't want to deal with cars backing out of driveways. And a bunch of speed bumps.
We are in Montgomery. You can see the sign is not black and white. That sign on the corner, it's a different municipality.
We're in the city of Montgomery, Texas.
Look at all the snow.
So the gravel we put on the roads at the corners and bridges.
They got a speed sensor thing
give you traction
on the side of the road. Solar powered to display speed. I guess people book it through here. Right back there. We're just a little south of downtown Montgomery here. We're east of the Montgomery High School. It's a nice route here. Might have to start using it more often.
Yeah, about the only thing I didn't like about it is all the speed bumps. And they're not marked very well, they're not painted.
As usual, the wind is out here. You can hear it. But it's blowing from the south, which is warming us up quickly. Within 2 hours, we're at 7C, which felt really good. I've got double layered gloves. My hands are feeling actually a bit hot now. I may just pull out the liner in a little while and just go with the neoprene. But everything works fine. Once you get below freezing, you got to get a little pickier when it comes to hand coverings. There's a lot of gaps on those tracks. You got to be careful there. So this, okay, so this brings us on the other side of the high school. I kind of know where we are. We're east of the high school and south of 105. So once we get there, I'll be able to go through. There's a little park that we use to go to a street called Caroline. Be able to use that. All these speed humps back here. I guess they got problems with people booking it. The speed limit says 20. So obviously people are not paying attention to it. But this is a little neighborhood. And the speed humps are not painted. You got to be careful. You can't see them very well on certain times, and you can hit them, especially in a car. A lot of areas will put yellow, like in Grand Lake, they paint the speed humps. Huffman. So yeah. So we are in Montgomery. Interesting. It's always good to try different routes, especially when you're doing your solo rides. You can barely see it until you get right up on it.
That's really probably why we don't come through here, because we don't have to deal with speed humps on.
That flag is lit, but as I move, I can feel the wind. So yeah, we're right on the other side of where we normally come on Montgomery. So it's a nice little bump here. It's probably a 2.5%.
Nice pavement right here.
That's a good way. Another way to come through. You have to explore your routes. There are many ways to skin a cat. Don't do the same roads all the time. Mix it up. Takes out the monotony. I like this road. It's nicely paved.
Yeah, this is the best section on the road right here.
So we're not gonna fly through here because of all these homes. People are gonna be backing out and so forth, but you could kind of do your slower pace through here. And I believe up ahead is 105. And another speed hump. So they got the sign, but they need to paint it on the road here. With the little white arrows, I guess. They figured that's sufficient. Cemetery right there.
Those speed humps were substantial. You missed them.
Okay, I know where we are now. This is the city of Montgomery
on the left
main
there.
Courthouse,
That's
I think.
the courthouse there.
We usually pass it going left.
That's
At
Highway
this point,
105.
this street is called
Eva
Street.
Street.
This is 105. That's the park. This is where we started the ride, the organized ride.
They call it Cedar Break Park, B-R-A-K-E, which is an unusual name.
I'm gonna get in the middle here and
instead
turn
of B-R-E-A-K, like taking a break. I guess B-R-A-K-E means stop. Cedar Break Park, you stop there. We cut through there often from the other direction.
We usually come from the other direction. So that's cool. Nice little discovery there. It's a quiet park. We usually cut through here to avoid the busy 105 section there. I just went across. just amazed that that snow and ice is still hanging around.
There's a bunch of slush that froze over. It's real slick over there.
It's just, that's the slippery
Because
stuff
it's in
over
the
there.
shadows.
I guess with all the shade here, the sun hasn't gotten to it. A few people hanging around the park.
People still had snow on their roofs the morning
4%
after this
grade.
ride.
Doesn't feel too bad. I had a whole week off. I guess my legs are fresh. I'm just muscling the big gear, not really riding. Some of these places are historic buildings. Somebody using a bike to complete that fence.
It's a nice grade here. At 3 or 4%, that levels off.
So I was not in the mood for any group drama since my buddy was not riding today. I just headed out to do my own thing. That's actually very healthy for your riding. Every now and then just break out, do your own thing. Join the group when you're in the mood.
Sometimes a group can delay you unnecessarily, and you have to make an executive
Sometimes there are too
decision.
many delays with the groups. So if you press for time, it's better to just do your own thing. I'm 3 hours into this ride, so I'm gonna head back towards town. This is Liberty Lane. This Liberty Lane here is also the FM Highway 149. They call it Liberty when you get into town. This is Montgomery, downtown. We've eaten in this restaurant before. They used to have a lot of organized rides out here. A lot of shopping here. This is what I'm talking about. You see these little pebbles?
It's the
Put them down to
gravel
keep the ice
/ sand.
And
They
it
put
just-
them out for traction.
They're a pain to ride over. So most of the time, if I have to ride over them, I stand up.
I'm
And
using
not
a road
that
here.
much but mostly on the bridges. They have quite a bit. Roads are clear. I got nobody behind me. Usually there's a queue of cars, so people are still not coming out that much. I'm going to cut through the neighborhood here. See, I should have taken Klepper, but I've never taken Berkeley and see where it goes. So I'm going to explore here. It'll dump me on the other side instead of using Lone Star Parkway. Is what we use a lot of times. I want to check out this neighborhood.
The Lone Star Park is the main drag
Most
to
of
the
this one I ride solo.
north of this.
I would otherwise have no reason to come in here. They've got speed humps in here too. I'm about 3 hours by bike from where I live and exploring a different neighborhood. Paul and I do this often. There's another speed hump. You gotta be careful with those. So what I do is I grab the bars and take my weight off the rear. It's a big neighborhood back here. Wow.
I had never been back here before. We always go by on the main drag.
These speed humps are pretty substantial. In Grand Lake, the speed humps are not like this. They're smoother. They really want to slow these people down. It keeps the traffic calm. I'm hoping this road takes me back to Klepper. Klepper is the street we usually use that connects back to the main highway, so I can head east. This is Berkeley. See all the gravel here. I gotta slow down. I'm not sure where that goes. Let's go up that way.
That goes back up to Klepper. That was the street I bypassed earlier.
Look at all this. I don't know if this camera will pick up. There's a lot of water over there and it's got ice because of the temperature. But it looks like it's thawing.
Yeah, that's the thing. When it freezes, you see water over there, that can be slick.
Go ahead and downshift because I'm barely pedaling. Yeah, this is Klepper. That's the road I pass. This is the road we usually use to cut through. We never come this way. I'm gonna go left. I'm heading south, I'm gonna go east.
So I get to the intersection, I see two cars coming. I'm there first.
Right here.
I lift the camera and point. That's why you see that swing, and then I go. So he knows I'm going. I skirt this bump by riding on the edge there. This is the road we usually use to bypass Lone Star Parkway.
It's like a full village back in here.
I didn't realize it was so large in here. We've got a huge subdivision
105
back
is
in
to the right. I don't know if you can see that car over there. That's the main highway. You take these quiet roads to avoid being on there because I suspect they have a lot of gravel on that on 105 at those intersections as well. These smaller roads don't get a lot of treatment for ice, which is everywhere, you know. Just up north, I'm sure the salt trucks are not doing every little subdivision. They do the main roadways first. Like that one. That's 105. So just to get out of the house and being cooped up all week and clear my head, that's what this ride is about. I'll go back to 105 and head east.
If I had gone left, it would take me to Taco Corner.
They didn't do any gravel here because they've been doing it mostly at the intersections. So that's good. The shoulder here looks nice and clean. They have the center turn lane, so when it's clear, usually we just go in the middle and then stop and wait till it's clear to get on the other side. A lot of people out today. So it's a balmy 56.8 Fahrenheit. So 13 or 14 Celsius. So it's the warmest day we've had for a week. So it's kind of cool to see everybody out and about. All the stores are stocked up again. The trucks are able to get in, so the roads are clear. That's what I was talking about. This side is clear, that side is not. So I'm gonna get in the middle here and wait. You're not supposed to drive or ride in the middle here. That's for turning. So you're supposed to get there and wait. That's what it's about. So wait till these guys can go. Since it's clear, I can get across. That's pretty much what you do And you do that even in your car. You get in the middle lane, it's for turning. So you get close to where you're gonna turn and you stop. I know a lot of people don't do that, they drive in that lane. If you're driving in that lane, you can get stopped and pulled over, and if you have an accident, you're at fault. It's not for driving. In sections of the lane, they actually put the arrows that represent the turning. So you're supposed to get in there and stop and yield, basically. So it's good to see this shoulder is nice and clean here. There's no gravel or anything. This is a good road to work out on. It's got a good shoulder. And, a good climb in the distance.
What I observed was that most of the gravel was dropped at the intersections where people are stopping and starting.
You hear the wind.
And turning.
That's why I wear the layers that I do. That wind cuts through everything. So this jersey I'm wearing is thermal, and it really blocks the wind. I had to take off my gilet because it's gotten so much warmer. And I put it under my bib.
It's under my bib in the small of
See all
the back.
the flags over there. The wind's coming from the south and east, which is where we get our warmth from during the summer. That's the Gulf. Tomorrow we are supposed to get to 20 Celsius. 20, 21, I think, something like that. 20 C. 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the high forecast. Things returning to normal. It's been a big mess. That's the gravel I'm talking about. This is a bridge. So they put gravel on it. You can see the ice is still there. If you have to ride in that, you want to stand. Those little rocks are not your friend.
I checked before I got in the lane. It's clear. Back on the shoulder, and it's at this intersection they dump gravel again. They try to do that for traction. Gives you traction in the ice.
So I decided to go that way because we got a lot of climb. I feel like climbing today, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, legends, home stretch. Directly into the wind. That's what's warming us up, but it's still a little nippy out here.
I'm on McCaleb Road,
about 15 or 16 Celsius.
aka Fishcreek Thoroughfare. This section is called McCaleb.
Fishcreek headed south.
Once you get to the intersection up ahead, it becomes Fishcreek. This section is called McCaleb when you're north of 2854. Which is what's coming up.
You see the ice is melting on the top of the overpass. You see all the debris from the rocks.
Yeah, it's still a mess because they put a lot of gravel up there for traction. And so I end up using the road because it's just a mess on the sides.
So I'm gonna have to use the road because I'm not riding in that crap.
I'm riding where the right tire of the car is built.
You can see all the ice.
With the ice up there.
Our overpasses freeze first, and then the last to thaw because the air passing over them.
Look at all the gravel
So
on
put
the
all
right.
these rocks down here that you see.
That they put there for traction. You see it's still wet. So if the shoulder is not safe, use the road. You have the right to use the road. People understand. You don't need to ride in a lot of debris or glass and all that kind of stuff.
See all the mess in the middle and to the side.
To So once it gets cleaner, yeah, you can probably go back on the shoulder, but all that crap over there, I just stay on the road for a bit.
Those rocks, because they need them.
I use my mirror to keep my eye on the traffic. It's not that busy. Even if it were, use the road. Going directly into the wind right here. You can hear it. That's the wind that warmed us up quickly from the south. South-southeast. So most of the ride, this is the way I was riding. 18 to 20 miles an hour. Just chilling. It's an easy ride to kind of get my body back into the swing of things. See, it's 14 Celsius. It's the warmest day we've had in more than a week. 62, 63 degrees Fahrenheit.
So this road kicks up and down. Right now we're hitting like this. I think this gets to like 4%. So they put the gravel in different spots. They put some over here, you can see it.
So wherever they think you'll need extra traction, they just put the gravel down.
I can see that behind me, it's clear. So I'm using the road. They can use the other lane because this is a mess. So this is pretty much my way home. Legends, wrapping up today's ride. Back on Creekside Green, the village next to my neighborhood. Not quite home yet, but rocking and rolling.
These are our most treacherous roads close to home because these geniuses are more frequently passing you, and quite a few of them don't give you enough room. So I make sure I use the road to make sure they move over in the other lane to pass. So we're actually safer when we go way out versus being close to home. In a few kilometers, we'll come to an intersection. You won't see the car because I didn't put the camera on.
Right here.
But
it's about 3%, but it's short.
Oh, it's a little bump close to home.
Just downshift the cog. Once I get over it, I shift up, keep the pressure on.
It's one of these sprinter's bumps, we call them. What I was saying is that in a few kilometers, there's an intersection we come to where the car can go straight or turn right, and you're waiting to turn left at a T intersection, and the drivers don't signal. So you don't know if they're going straight or turning right. If they're turning right, you can go. But if they're going straight, that's hazardous. And they never signal. I guess you're supposed to just guess. As the wind picks up, I focus on driving the gears. Trying to keep the effort the same. So we turn here. This is the intersection I was talking about. It's coming up down there. That's a T junction. So the drivers coming from the left can go straight or turn on this road. Well, if they're turning, then you can turn. I slow down, check to the right, check left. There's a driver coming from left, but she doesn't signal that she's turning right.
Into the wind.
Right there, look. And so I'm waiting for her. Then she turns.
Well, put the signal on so we know you're turning. It's not a secret.
So if she were going straight, I have to wait. So that's the thing. They do that all the time. Because she can go straight or turn right, but we're supposed to guess whether she's turning or not. The thing that signals are on the car for decorative purposes. So we have very few, a small percentage of the drivers trafficate consistently in our area. And that creates a lot of headaches for other road users. There's an intersection coming up that I'm coasting to, and I check, it's clear. So I go east. A bit of a bump there, 1% slope. So once I get out here, I'm even more vigilant because you have higher percentage of drivers not paying attention. There's something about being in familiar surroundings that make drivers get complacent and a little careless sometimes. I want to thank our sponsors, and we want to thank those of you who are members on YouTube of the Veloharmony channel. We appreciate your support. Consider becoming a member and take advantage of our perks for the different tiers that are out there.
Our boil water notice.
That's the boil water notice sign you see on the right there, but our mud told us we didn't need to, and the notice has been lifted for the major Harris County area.
It's about 63 degrees Fahrenheit, probably about 17 Celsius. It's gotten nice and warm, but it's a cool 17 Celsius.
So what I did was I took off the liner and just put on my neoprene.
It warmed up because of the sun and the direction of the wind, but it's still chilly. You can tell. But it's been nice. I had to take out one of my layers, and I'm just using the neoprene, which really seals your body heat very well. It's actually too warm for this temperature. The neoprene works best against the skin.
Going directly into the wind, headed towards Rayford, West Rayford Drive. In a few kilometers, I will show you where the drivers have been running into the median on the road, and it's all broken up. I hadn't planned on
riding this long, but my wife said earlier, she said, once you get on that bike, you get carried away, you have no concept of time. She said that, I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of what she said. She said you lose track of time. And I guess she's right. I thought I was going to do a 3-hour ride. It's almost 6 hours. Got another 10 or 15 minutes to go.
This is the intersection.
This is
we have
a little
choke
point here
right
near home. These are the areas I don't play with because they're the most dangerous. So as you can see, I'm on the left of this lane. I take up the whole road because I will show you in a little bit. Right here, these geniuses have been hitting this median. I hope the camera does it justice. You see how the median is torn up? They've been running into it, trying to shoehorn themselves where that road chokes up, because to wait for a microsecond is sacrilege, I guess. So when you're on the bike, you have to take up the lane there. Otherwise, they'll try to squeeze by it.
Yeah, we had a guy hit his brakes. He had to lock up
2 miles
to avoid
from
hitting that thing.
One of the most dangerous areas, in my opinion, because they're kind of reckless. I guess they're close to home, so they're comfortable, and they just do a lot of stupid stuff.
We were going through there one time, Paul and I, and a guy misjudged our speed.
Once I get around here, I take up. You can see where I'm riding. I use the road. I make them move over because they make poor decisions.
Yeah, if the lane's not wide enough, they're not passing next to my elbow. They're gonna move over. You do that by placing yourself properly in the lane. I'm on the exact spot their right tire rides on. So they have to cross that yellow line. It forces them to make a conscious attempt to give you some room, as opposed to ignoring the fact that you're on the road. So just don't get comfortable because you're close to home. That's where you're more apt to have mishaps, because the frequency of cars passing is higher in a populated area. So all along here we use the road. This is the route going by the golf course that goes up the last hill, what we call one more climb. Whenever we're riding and we get there at the last climb, we know the ride's over.
Speed limit's 20 here. They never do 20. They get pulled over a lot.
Yeah, this is like shooting fish. This is guaranteed money for our local law enforcement.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel. There's always a constable hiding somewhere around here.
Especially around the early parts of the month.
Better them than me. Let them contribute their hard-earned money.
And the speeding tickets are not.
When I drive my car through here, I make sure I keep it around 18 just to make sure, because they're always out here, especially around the early part of the month. Got better things to do with funds than give it away.
Speeding tickets are almost $200. It starts there. So you're spending good money just because you're not paying attention or total disregard. They make good money off of that stuff. And if you run a stop sign, they charge you more for that. And they have to do that because otherwise people will just get out of hand. The people that own the golf course here always complain because the golfers are at risk. They've added these signs you see on the right. The yellow sign with the golf cart, those are new. They've added them at every crossing. They didn't used to be there because of just people coming through here acting like it's a busier road. It's 20 miles an hour for probably 10 kilometers.
The climb I have to deal with after every ride.
This is a 7% climb. It gets to 7%
in one little spot. And when you're tired, it feels like a little mountain.
And we usually are, because
Right
it's the
here,
last
7%.
climb before we get to the end of the ride.
Right in front of the golf course office.
7%. I don't know if
This
the
usually
overlay would do it
signifies
justice,
the end
but
of
it gets there.
our ride. Once we go over that bump, drop the gearing, and start to spin down. So I hope you all got a chance to get some K's in. It's a beautiful day down here. The freeze is over. We've thawed out. And tomorrow is supposed to be 20 Celsius for a high. It's gonna be really nice and fair. Keep those doctors fired.